Designers learn when doing web design too late. If you're going to go into the field of web design, then it's important that you be someone who loves lifelong learning because the web is ever changing and technology is always changing. So, something that you design today will possibly or probably be obsolete maybe 3 to 5 years from now, either because of design trends changing or the technology itself changing. When I was learning first to do web design and do coding, HTML5 was actually pretty much in its infancy. I mean, now it's the standard, and there's a lot of code that came out after I learned. So there were a lot of things that I had to continue to learn as HTML5 was being refined. And responsive design was also in its infancy. So maybe the first 2 or 3 themes for WordPress that were actually responsive were released the year that I graduated from design school. And of course, now responsive design is standard. And you need to be able to design not only for a large desktop screen, you need to be able to design for every brand of mobile phone and the different screen sizes associated for that. So when you become a web designer, it's important for you to be someone who enjoys updating your skills on a regular basis because things are going to update themselves. You're going to need to be aware of the updates and what's new with every update. It happens with WordPress. This happens with most of the tools that are out there. And the web itself changes. You have to be, we've been in HTML5, CSS3 for quite some time, but, that may change in the future where they're going to release a new iteration of HTML, a new iteration of CSS. Now, the good thing about that is that those tend to build on the knowledge you've built. So it's usually not a complete changeover. But I know for example, for WordPress, when I learned how to do custom theming, that system has been changed completely in the maybe 7 years since I learned it the first time. So there's a lot that you have to consider when going to this field. You have to be nimble about your skills and be someone who enjoys having to learn and update yourself on a regular basis. It's very different than if you love branding or you love book design. Once you learn the principles of good branding, that really doesn't change so much. And with book design, again, the principles of book design don't really change much. Once you learn how to design a book well, you know how to design a book well, and that's not going to change a lot. But with the web, there's always something new around the corner. There's new technology. And, now we have to think about designing for augmented reality, virtual reality, and three-dimensional spaces and things like that. So these are all things that you have to be adept at learning as time passes. And then another lesson that's important to think about when you're learning web design is that there's things that make you stand out as a designer that, if you take the time to learn these other things, then that's going to make you someone who's a premium when you're seeking out jobs, that you can be someone that can charge more because you have these other skills. Who not also understands design environment about domains and hosting and what shared hosting is, what managed hosting is. These are things that you can educate your client about so that you can have them choose the right thing for their product. So if you learn all these ancillary things, not just the design itself, but about the technologies, then you're someone that can help your client better. And if you understand things like search engine optimization, so that you can build that stuff into your website, if you understand the laws and standards around accessibility, you can make sure your client is compliant, that they're not going to get some sort of demand letter months later after you've built their site that they have to change everything because it's not compliant. If you're someone that understands that certain things are required by law, like privacy policies, so that you can encourage your client to do the things that they need to do so they're not going to get fined for not having the right things on their website. So if you're someone who takes the time to learn all these other things that have to do with websites that may not be directly related to design, you're going to be someone that provides your client with extra services that makes sure that the client understands everything that they need to understand. And the other thing is security. Websites get hacked all the time. And WordPress, if you end up building websites on WordPress, is one of the most hacked content management systems out there because it is the most popular. So if you're someone that understands how to set up the security of a WordPress site properly, then you can help your client prevent their website from being attacked, hacked, and have problems. And then the third thing is just understanding business in general. I think, unfortunately, financial literacy is not something that's always taught in schools, and it's important to educate yourself about that when, especially if you're deciding to run a business as a freelancer, or bring up your own agency as opposed to working for someone else, and educating yourself on every detail about business, about understanding tax laws and things like that. Those are things that will help you in the long run if you take the time to study entrepreneurship and business. That it will help you manage the money coming in and out of your business better, so that you can survive as a business. Because I think not every person is taught these skills when they go to school and design school or whatnot, and you tend to have to learn these things outside. So be someone that learns these lessons now while you're learning all these skills that you need to run to do web design. So don't just learn design. Don't just learn the technical part. Learn all these other things that go with it, and that will help you in your career. Presented by Designers Learn Code.